saw an American record from Noah Lyles yesterday in the men's 200 meters. Could we get the same from Michael Norman in this? Michael Norman so often struggles on the largest stage, but he's looked supreme this week here in Eugene, but my, has he got the field to compete against here. From Botswana in lane 8 will be Beyopo Ndora. He's already done a personal best here in the opening round. The world record holder goes in lane 7. He looked great in his heat. A little bit more laboured in the semi-final, but he's had a rest day. What can Wade van Niekerk manage? Lane 6 is America's champion Allison. He's number 2 in the world rankings with his 43-7 at the USA Championships. Inside of him in lane 5 is the new national record holder from Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Matthew Hudson-Smith. Ran with Michael Norman in their semi-final. Has he got any more in the tank? But here is the man who is carrying the mantle for the USA in the men's 400, Michael Norman. He broke Michael Johnson's Prefontaine meeting record. Could he challenge his national record here today? But Karani James, 5 global medals. He is the championship performer. Can the man from Grenada upset Michael Norman, or at least get himself on that podium again? Lane 2 will be Jonathan Jones from Barbados. Watch out for his fast finish. Lane 1 will be Christopher Taylor, 6th place finish at Tokyo last year. He did a season's best in qualifying, rounding into form just when it matters. This field is loaded. Taylor of Jamaica in 1, Jones of Barbados in 2, James of Grenada in 3, Norman of USA in lane 4, Hudson-Smith in 5, Allison in 6, Van Niekerk, the world record holder, in lane 7, and Ndori of Botswana in lane 8. Can Michael Norman overcome the demons? Just 5th in Tokyo, such a disappointment for him. Failed to make the final in Doha, but he's here in front of a home crowd.
Set.
And they're away. Well, Michael Norman's got a good lane draw here. He's got everybody to look at outside of him, but he has got Karani James on his inside. And the Grenadan finishes incredibly fast. Wade van Niekerk's gone out fast on the outside. He's got a gap on champion Allison. Matthew Hudson-Smith of Great Britain and Northern Ireland doing his best to get past champion Allison. He's got a fast start as well. Michael Norman is tracking the tall Brit outside of him, but here comes Karani James. Karani James is putting pressure on Michael Norman as they move into the final 100 metres. Karani James, Michael Norman, Matt Hudson-Smith, and here comes the world record holder Wade van Niekerk. Michael Norman digging deep in front of this Hayward Field home crowd. It is going to be Michael Norman from Karani James, from Matthew Hudson-Smith. What a run for Mike Norman. Such pressure. He was tense in that last 100 metres. He came under immense pressure from all sides, but he'd saved something for that last 40 metres. Rai Benjamin, his training partner, the silver medalist, the first to congratulate him. These two ran collegiately together, and they have transferred into these senior ranks so fantastically. But Michael Norman, when he's failed so many times before, he has succeeded. What a run under this pressure.
You get the feeling he needed that, Michael Norman. He was the fastest man in the world in 2019 and was bitterly disappointed not even to make the final in Doha. He came under massive pressure from Karani James, who has now completed the set. A champion in Daegu with the gold, a bronze in Beijing, and now a silver here in Eugene. And what a wonderful moment and an embrace between Matthew Hudson-Smith and Ewan Thomas doing stadium announcing here. Hudson-Smith broke Ewan Thomas's long established British record, and he got himself on the podium. He was rocking and rolling towards the end, but he hung on really well as the pressure was coming from champion Allison. All 3 of the medalists will be over the moon, I think, with how it's finished. Karani James, remember, in silver, has come back from the death of his mother, trying to come back to top form after getting Graves' disease. But all the plaudits and the congratulations belong to Michael Norman. I think he'll feel like he's got a monkey off his back here, because everyone's known for 3 or 4 years that he's got the talent to become a global champion. He failed to do so in Doha, he failed to do so in Tokyo, but here perhaps, when the pressure was even more intense, because the crowd were desperately willing him to get that gold, his nerve held good. And he had such composure in the last 80 metres, Hannah, because Karani James came up on his inside and could have taken it from him. Norman could have wilted, but he didn't, and that's why he deserves to be the champion.
Our sport is beautiful, it's wonderful, it's pure. The effort that these men have put in through the rounds, through this season, and your podium is full of so many stories. If there's any athletes out there struggling, that are trying to come back from hardship, Michael Norman, underperforming in Doha, underperforming in Tokyo, converting it to a gold medal. Karani James with his massive health problems, years away from the sport, coming back for a silver medal. And Matt Hudson-Smith has shown tremendous promise since such a young age. It's taken 8 years for him to truly realise his potential, and he's finally done that this season, and he's got himself on the podium. That was a race for the ages, full of stories, full of drama. And so delighted to see Michael Norman finally take that gold medal, much like Sean O'Miller-Weibo. Mixture of joy and relief, and great to see those emotional scenes for Great Britain and Northern Ireland's Matt Hudson-Smith and his bronze medal. But never write Karani James off. And a word on Wade van Niekerk as well. He was up in a medal position with 50 metres to go and just slightly tying up. But we've got Jenny Meadows, world 800-metre medalist, down on the infield. Jenny, what did you make of that men's 400?
Hannah, that one had everything. Michael Norman, we all wanted to see him get that gold medal around his neck. Like you say, so many stories. But I've got to say, Matthew Hudson-Smith, exactly what you said, Hannah. So many young athletes, when you think it's never going to go my way, he's been so talented, promised so much. He's physically been able to do it, but he's really honest. He said mentally he's really struggled. He doesn't believe he's there. He doesn't believe he would ever to get on a podium. It's so nice to see those raw emotions when an athlete finally achieves that. And I think we've never needed an instant medal moment so much as we did. All those 3 men getting those medals, absolutely wonderful to see.
Norman goes off for a whole array of interviews, and this time he will love the sound of the questions. It's not why didn't you deliver, it's congratulations. The greatest moment of his young career so far. And now that he has got his first global title, I just wonder how many more will come.
And he was under pressure, Michael Norman. So often he's been unchallenged. USA's, he ran away from everybody. Prefontaine Diamond League, he ran away from everybody. A slight bit of pressure for Matt Hudson-Smith in the semi-finals yesterday, but that didn't really matter. This was the big occasion for Michael Norman, and he had as much company as he's had all season as they came off the bend. Karani James had pulled up on his inside. Matt Hudson-Smith was running supremely well to hold him off. See Jessie Knight and Amy Eloise Marcoats there, the British team. Marina Armstrong, no emotion, as Matt Hudson-Smith powered himself down the home straight. But Michael Norman just found a tiny bit extra here in those crucial last 20 metres. And no one can begrudge a champion when they've come such a long way over so many years. Michael Norman, so that relaxation, that focus, that takes mental composure to say, don't strain, don't reach for this. Take yourself away from the moment and the occasion and just execute what you've done time and time again in training. And he did that supremely.
And that was the moment that Hudson-Smith had absolute proof by seeing his name on the big screen that he had unequivocally got himself the bronze medal. That was a fine run from Norman. It's not the quickest we've ever seen from him, but definitely the most significant. He's a global champion.
Confirmed result there. Michael Norman squeezing out 0.2 of a second in the closing metres over Karani James. Matthew Hudson-Smith of Great Britain and Northern Ireland picking up the third. position and a bronze medal. Champion Allison in 4th, Wade van Niekerk. What a return to form for the world record holder. What a rematch between some of those athletes as we look towards the Commonwealth Games.